Okay, the June 18th meeting of the Compliance and Amendments Committee is now in order. Okay, item number 1, please.
Call to order, roll call, and agenda changes. Matthew Yankee.
Here.
Matthew Yankee present. Fiona Hinsey. Fiona Hinsey present. Chair Kanata.
Present.
Chair Kanata present. We have a quorum.
Okay,
Next.
are there any agenda changes? Did one drop out?
Yes. I heard from Joshua Clipp last Friday that he was not going to be able to make it today. So I notified Park and Rec. This was the first time that Mr. Clipp said that he was unavailable for the hearing. We keep track of that.
Okay.
So that's why I gave it an okay.
All right. And that's item number 5, right?
Item number 5,
okay.
yeah.
All right, great.
And then I have some materials for item number 6 that were submitted today, a memo from the city attorney's office. And we can discuss that when that item is called.
Okay.
So that's it on agenda changes.
All right, let's do the next item then.
Item number 2, approval of the April 16, 2019 Compliance and Amendments Committee meeting minutes.
Any changes, anybody? Okay, okay, yeah. I'm fine with them.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
They
fine
looked
with
okay to
it,
me.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move them to
I'll
approve.
second.
Okay, can we take that by acclamation? Oh, before that, any public comment on the minutes? Seeing none? Okay, we take that by acclamation. Thank you.
Okay, Hinsey moved, and who was second then?
Yes.
Who?
I did.
Oh, Matthew. Item number 3, public comment. Members of the public may address the committee on matters that are within the committee's jurisdiction but not on today's agenda.
Any public comment? Seeing none, let's move on.
Item number 4, file number 18079, hearing on the status of the order of determination, complaint filed by Ellen Sang against Lily Magis and the Department of Building Inspection for violating Administrative Code Section 6721 by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner.
Okay,
So we could go, this was referred by the Education Outreach and Training Committee, and so we have potential actions. We can either find that the department has complied with the OD after we hear Ms. Sang's testimony, or we could continue to the call of the chair if we don't get a conclusion.
okay. So I see Ms. Sang here. Is anybody here from DBI? There's not. Okay, Ms. Sang, come on up, please. Before you start, so we've got a whole lot of information here.
Okay, let's speak then. Let me talk.
What have you gotten? What have you not received?
What she promised me to give to me.
No time. This is word.
Question and answer. Okay.
Okay, what she promised me to says that she will email to me what she provide. She has not done so. So, yeah, what she said is on the 22nd, I want to show you the page. After the hearing for the training or outreach, and she says she will send me the email documents. She has not done so as today. So she's not allowed to just, say that she provides so many promises. She had not intention to keep them. I asking for the public record with electronic formats provided by electronic, and then she says she will provide on the 22nd, May 22nd. As today, none. She has not provided none.
Okay.
So I don't know what she provided to you. Okay, so she hand me some papers, and then next day she says she will email to me, but she has not.
Frank here's DBI is in the room.
Oh, good. Okay, so, but did you get hard copy?
She gave me some papers. I don't know. Is it the same as yours or something?
Yes, it's the exact same
And
one.
then I don't know.
Okay.
Some of the things that she gave to me, I don't know is that responsive to my thing, but she says she will email to me.
Okay.
And as a format.
But before we address the email, did you read these to
Yeah.
see if they were responsive?
I asked them, is it the document you provided is in response to the links that you said you provide, but she has not respond. So I don't know. She gave me the things. Is it the same as? I don't know. In the Sunshine link, I asked her to tell me what pages is responded to your documents that you said that you will email to me, and then she has not respond. She has not. She just ignored that. Doesn't respond.
Okay.
So I think that I'm entitled to those things that she says that she will provide.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Magis, could you come up, please?
If I may ask a question.
Okay.
Based on the last hearing, if I may, let's set aside the email for a second. If I recall, you requested a continuance because you wanted to read the packet of materials to see if they were responsive. Have you, and that's why we continued it to this meeting, because you indicated that a month would be enough time for you to go over the packet that you had received. Have you done that? Have you read any of the packet?
That's addressed to you, Ms. Sang.
Yeah.
So the last meeting, these were delivered late, and you said you needed time to go over them. So you've had a month.
No, that time she handed to me, and then actually the member says, hey, I believe that you don't have time to review them. I says, no, I don't have time to review them. And then, then this is some discussion. Right. So.
And that's why it was continued for a month.
Okay.
We gave you a month to review them to see if they were responsive, to see if you thought they were responsive.
So,
I just tell you, yes, I did receive something she handed to me during the meeting. Yes.
We understand you received them. The question is, did you go through them, and are they responsive to your request?
I briefly read them because I was waiting. The next day she said she will email to me. So I has been waiting for her email to me.
Okay. Thank you. Miss, please come up here. Could you give us your version of this email stuff? I mean,
Sure. Lily Magis, Department of Building Inspection. My apologies, commissioners, for being a bit tardy. Just to recap, at the last meeting, May 21st, is when I brought the batch of responsive documents. Previous to that was the last meeting before that at the full task force. The request was to provide Ms. Sang email numbers 236, 44, and 55, and we emailed it to her. We were in touch with her 5 different times. Then within the time frame of the request from the Sunshine Task Force, we send it to her electronically. Before the last subcommittee, the education subcommittee, we brought copies. We provided one to you guys, the commissioners, one to Ms. Sang. The instruction to her was to review the documents, ensure that, or confirm that they were responsive to her requests. Again, they were the same exact documents that were provided to her on 5 different occasions in March. The next day she did request for an email link. She basically requested what was provided to the Sunshine Commission. We provided it to her. We've had difficulty in sending the files. The files are quite large. Today I have electronic copies because we have offered Ms. Sang to come down to our department. She has difficulty coming down, although she has, so we do have copies of those, both the 521 production and also the 515 production. I would ask the commission to ask Ms. Sang to confirm that the files provided to her in hard copy format, because electronic has been provided, that they confirm that she's received them. And we've been more than responsive to her requests, her multiple requests. We've sent multiple emails, again, of the different files, redacted, unredacted, multiple occasions. We're happy to provide them again, but we keep coming to the same conclusion. And in this case, we gave her the hard copy files, the same files that you received. They were numbered A, B, C, D, E. They're dated, they're highlighted. There's no question in terms of which numbers were provided as to what is responsive.
Okay, I just have a question on,
Sure.
you've said that you have emailed information to Ms. Sang in the past, but you also said that the files here are large and they weren't conducive to being emailed?
We have emailed her. We emailed her, let me go through the email and our responses to her. We emailed her on March 12th, and she responded on March 13th. We responded to her again. She had questions on additional documents. We emailed her on March 15th, March 20th.
And these emails contain the documents?
Correct.
Okay.
They've been sent over time. The last time that we sent to her, or the files that were provided to Ms. Sang, basically include March 12, March 13, March 15, March 20, and March 28. As you can imagine, those are really big files. They're somewhat all the same files, whether they're original, redacted, or not. And so we can't keep sending all those emails. So.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? Ms. Martin or Ms. Sang?
I just like Ms. Sang to clarify. So I think we're all on the same page that this stack of exhibits, I guess, A through E, was provided to you in hard copy at the last meeting. This is the one I recall. I was there, and Member Hinsey was there, so we all got this back then. And I remember we, like Member Hinsey said, a month has gone by now. That's what we, continued it for a month. So in that month, where I just want to get a clear answer, have you reviewed that hard copy packet of information to see if anything is missing? Now, absent the emails, we're just talking about the hard copy.
Yeah, I briefly reviewed, but the next day she says she's emailed to me.
No, we're getting off topic.
Okay, yeah.
Let's focus just on the hard copy.
Yeah.
Have you, is there anything in the hard copy that's missing?
Okay, I asked her, okay, would you please, what are you referring to, A, B, C, D? She has not responded.
No. You were here a month ago, close to a month
Yes.
ago, right?
Yes.
On EOTC, we were here.
Yes.
And we were all here, and she handed us and handed you this packet of papers, looks like this, right?
She did hand me some
right,
paper, yes.
Right. So, I'm just talking about those papers. Have you in the month that's passed, have you reviewed those papers and seen if anything is missing or not missing?
Let me just put it this way. I briefly reviewed that and asked her a question. I said, what are you, A, B, C, D, referring to? And then she not responding. I think that if I have questions, I expected her, if she honest want to produce it to me, she should respond.
Okay.
And I'm assuming everybody's packet has the tabs on them. This thing could not be any clearer. I don't understand why at the last meeting a month ago, the Education and Outreach meeting, when you got this and they gave you a month to review it, and now you come here and say you've looked at a few of the documents.
Yeah.
I read them, yes. I briefly read them, but she's promised so she will email to me, so I just waiting for the email.
She says
she's that's confusing. When you ask her question, she doesn't respond, and then later on she says CD. So I'm just she should just say that now this is what it is. But when I have question to ask her, I expect she respond. Okay, if she doesn't respond, then she says, I will send you by email.
And she says they have sent you emails, and outside of incredible proof, we can't get in the middle of the back and forth here. I see an incredible amount of documentation here, and you've had a month to review it. So and they've sent you redacted ones. We asked them to unredact them, and they said they have and sent you unredacted. I looked through some of this because I just got this tonight, and there's very little redaction in here. It's explained. The explanations in here are very clear on what these refer to. I mean, they have appeals for with numbers on them, with the reference numbers and everything.
And to be clear, at the last meeting, I believe you requested time to review the actual physical packet. irregardless of any emails that they may provide to you. So you requested time to review the original packet. We're just asking what your thoughts are on the original packet in terms of being responsive to your requests. So don't think about your emails right now. Just think about the original packet and whether you consider that responsive to your request.
I don't think that I asked for the original. I asked just provide by electronically what my requests are. But whatever you think that's okay. I mean, that's the way he provided. Then
Okay. Okay, so are you saying you received no emails, or you received emails that you couldn't look at?
No, I received an email. I asked her what is referring to, but she refused.
So
what I want to tell your your members, when the public has questions, I don't understand why she cannot respond. She responds at what she want to respond. That's very confusing when you don't respond to my email.
But ma'am,
Yes.
we're not here to talk about how well she answered a question in email. That's outside our jurisdiction. We're here to see if she's satisfied the request for records that you made, not to judge how clear she is in her email response to you. And so, again, I know we keep coming back to this, but let's set aside all the email thing. I think there were some technical issues with email. There's a variety of reasons why she brought the hard copy. So, focusing on the hard copies, is there anything from the hard copies that's missing? From the hard copies, is there anything that you think's missing?
You can ask her, is that she produced everything to me?
No. She gave this to you.
She's claiming that she produced everything.
Right. She's claiming that she produced everything and gave it to you in hard copy at the last meeting. You had a month to review what she claims was everything in hard copy. Is there anything that you see missing in that hard copy?
I can only say that some of the email I asking her about the documents, she has not responded because some.
No, but keep going back to the emails. We can't do the emails here. We're focusing on the hard copies that she gave you.
But those emails referring to the documents. For instance, some email she says she redacted four items, but when she produces only 3 is redacted. So I just wondering what is the 4 one? I have been asking him. Ask her, that's
okay, so that question, where in this packet is that, in the hard copy packet that you received, that you're referring to that question? Which record are you unsure of is responsive in this packet?
That's in my email, okay? I don't know which
I know you keep going back to the email. That's what I'm saying. We talk about the hard copy that she gave you.
Yeah.
So where in the hard copy are you saying that it's unresponsive? What page, so we can look?
I can only say that that's the one. She redacted 4
Okay.
items, but only
Ms. Sang,
3. Yeah.
The way the process works is you put in a complaint.
Yes.
We heard the complaint. There was information provided that you said wasn't sufficient, and some of it was redacted. DBI has unredacted that information and given you every document they say is pertinent to your request. Now, this back and forth with emailing her, that's not part of the original complaint. We're here trying to adjudicate this original complaint. There's this information that was handed to you with an agreement between all parties at the last meeting that you were going to take the month to go through it and let this committee know if anything was still missing. We keep asking you that question, and you don't answer it. You go back, you have back and forth with emails. The object here is to make sure you got all the information. The information was handed to you on the 22nd of May, the meeting, a month ago.
21st.
21st of May. You haven't gone, you sit here telling us you haven't gone through it. I don't know what else to do, so I'm going to.
I don't know what else to do either. We can't adjudicate this for her. We can't make a determination ourselves.
So you've told us how you feel. DBI has told us that they've sent you all the information, so please sit down, we'll discuss it and decide what's going to happen.
Okay.
I have difficulty continuing this any further because I've not heard anything from the complainant about what's missing. So
Yeah.
she hasn't been able to identify in this what's missing. So I think at this point we move to close it up and wrap
Yeah.
this up.
Yeah. Because we can't adjudicate this for her because we can't make a determination ourselves to whether or not
Right.
the responsive, that's not our
Right.
role.
Yeah.
But she's not able to answer our questions
Right.
Exactly.
satisfactorily.
So, Ms. Sang, if in the communications, the email communications between you and DBI, you were asking for new information that you think wasn't provided, that's a separate complaint that we're not doing tonight. So, do we have a motion?
Sure. I would move to, I don't know what we use on this committee to close the file
Close the file.
and consider it
Responded to.
responsive. Yeah.
Second.
Okay, any public comment on the motion? Seeing no public comment, can we have a vote?
Member Yankee?
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Member Hensy?
Yes.
Member Hensy, aye. Chair Kanata?
Aye.
Chair Kanata, aye. The motion passes.
Thank you. Can we have the next item, please? And Cheryl, do you have an extra pen? A pen, extra? Thank you.
Shall I read the fifth item, the guy who's not going to be here?
If that's the next one, yeah.
It is.
Oh, yeah, that's the one okay, go ahead, read that one and
We'll get to it. Okay, item number 5, file number 18072, hearing on the status of the order of determination. Complaint filed by Joshua Clip against Recreation and Parks Department for violating Administrative Code, Section 6721B and E, by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and or complete manner. Mr. Clip informed me last Friday that he would be unavailable to attend the hearing, and I suggested that it be rescheduled for August. He was fine with that. And I notified Park and Rec that was the determination, that they didn't have to appear today because this was the first time request. So at this point, this hearing has been scheduled for the Compliance and Amendments Committee meeting third Tuesday, I think that's August 17, to hear this matter.
Okay, do we need to vote on the continuance? I'm not sure
We
how that.
probably should.
Okay, so we need a motion to continue.
Sure, I'd move to continue to the August 7th meeting? Is that what you
To the
said? August 7th?
I believe that's the date, but I
Okay,
could be
to the
wrong.
August meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Any public comment on the motion? Seeing none.
Matthew Yankee?
Aye.
Matthew Yankee, aye. Member Hensy?
Aye.
Member Hensy, aye. Chair Kanata?
Aye.
Chair Kanata, aye. The motion to continue passes.
Okay. Next item.
Item number 6, file number 18095, hearing on the status of the order of determination. Complaint filed by Sandra Weiss against Kevin Guy in the Office of Short-Term Rentals for violating Administrative Code Section 6721 by failing to respond to an immediate disclosure request in a timely and or complete manner.
Okay, are both parties here?
Sandra Weiss is here.
Okay, okay, Ms. Weiss, come on up, please.
I just
Oh,
want to say that city attorneys provided a memo that they sent to me today regarding this particular matter.
okay.
So this is not in our packet?
No, I just got it today.
So, okay, so I'm not even going to look at this because it's
Yeah.
how many pages?
Yeah.
And I don't want, and getting it last minute. Okay, so Ms. Weiss, we had asked, excuse me here, the Office of Short-Term Rentals to provide you the information, either unredacted or provide justification for the redactions. Has anything happened? Have you gotten any information?
Kevin Guy has refused to provide that.
Okay, and you have no other input? That's from the last time, or?
No, the memo that you have from the city attorney's office doesn't include any other information that other than what he gave me previously before the hearing as to why he would not provide it, or anything new other than what he gave you. You know, they quote the Good Government Code. They talk about individual rights to privacy. These folks aren't individuals. They are businesses. The IRS Schedule C's them now, treats them as small businesses. I mean, I could go on, but I think you made a determination, and I would
Correct.
like them to give me the information.
Correct, thank you. Can we have a representative from the Office of Short-Term Rentals, please? Change positions?
No. Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. Christine Silva, planning staff. On behalf of Kevin Guy, who couldn't be here today, I also have with me Adrian Putra of staff to address any questions. At this time, and as you've gotten, we have a memo prepared by the City Attorney's Office for your review, which was also emailed to your staff today. If agreeable, I'd like to read aloud portions of that memo for your consideration.
As long as it's real short. Go ahead.
Okay, let me just make it shorter than what I thought I was going to say. But so at your May 1st hearing, the task force found that the Office of Short-Term Rentals violated Section 67.21B, 67.26, and 67.27 of the Sunshine Ordinance by redacting personal information without justification. OSTR accurately stated that it had relied on advice from the city attorney when making the redactions. At the hearing, and as reflected in your order, dated May 21st, the task force requested that legal justification for the redactions be provided, or alternatively, that OSTR provide the unredacted documents to the requester. This memo provided to you goes into detail through pages 2 through 8 of the memo. The 3 main points providing legal justification and applicable case law supporting their opinion. Those 3 items: number 1, protecting personal privacy, essential feature of our system of open government, which is on page 2. Number 2, which is on page 3, protecting personal email addresses and telephone numbers from disclosure, general privacy considerations. And then item number 3, protecting personal email addresses and telephone numbers from disclosure, privacy considerations specific to the short-term rental program. In conclusion, neither the Public Records Act nor the Sunshine Ordinance was intended as a vehicle for members of the public to mine for their own benefit private information such as email addresses and telephone numbers in city records. Nothing about the Public Records request on which this complaint is based takes it outside that general rule that such private information must remain private. Indeed, for the reasons stated in this opinion from the city attorney, there are heightened privacy concerns in disclosing email addresses and telephone numbers regarding individual hosts registered under the short-term rental program, as well as concerns that disclosure of such information could cripple the program. Consistent with a longstanding opinion of the city attorney's office regarding privacy protections for personal email addresses and telephone numbers, and consistent with the city attorney's advice to OSTR regarding redaction of such information from records produced in response to requests for registry listings, the Office of Short-Term Rentals correctly chose to redact such information from the records it provided in response to the request that underlies the subject complaint.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks. So, I mean, I don't want to get into this memo now. And just going through it, there may be case law stated, but we don't have an attorney here, and I really don't want to go through it. So, I think it should go back up to the task force with the task force to make a determination of either it's a willful violation of not providing the information in our order, or
that this is sufficient.
Or this is sufficient to take some additional action.
I agree. I think we need to introduce this as evidence.
Yeah, I guess I would just be curious why we just got it today. I mean, if the respondent could.
Can I make a response, please, since she talked for so long and I abbreviated mine?
Sure.
You made a determination. I presented my case last time. None of this is new evidence. Everything that was just presented treats these folks as though they are individuals and not businesses. They do no longer have the right to privacy that regular individuals do. They are businesses registered with the city. I have gotten these lists from over 10 cities now. San Francisco is the only one to deny them. They are violating their own ordinance. They're not even giving me the information that their own ordinance says they should. So I really don't understand. I've been here now twice. No new information was presented. It was presented last minute. I find it incredibly disrespectful and a way to obfuscate what is actually right and why these ordinances and the Freedom of Information Act and other like things exist.
Right. I totally understand that, Ms. Weiss. And just to be clear, all we can do is tell them to produce the data. We can't force them. So
Fine.
So
I just
this
don't want to have to come back here again and go through this all over again.
You can choose not to come back, but this will go up to the full board to look at this and make a determination. And if the full board says that our decision the last time was correct, then we refer this either to the district attorney or
Attorney General.
or the attorney general to order them to provide the data.
That's great. And I'd prefer not to have my lawyers get involved. You made a determination. There's no new
Right.
evidence presented. I don't know why it has to be heard again, but okay.
Okay. Thank you. So is there...
Ms. Weiss, real quickly, have you seen the memo that they just gave us? Did you?
I got it earlier today.
You did? Okay.
I printed it out and I read it. I have it right here. There's
Okay, so I want to make sure that you had.
here, other than the excuses used. Sorry. I read it earlier today. There is nothing new here other than the excuses used in the original hearing where you made your determination. Good governance code, individual right to privacy, etc. None of it flies. These aren't individuals. They're not general members of the public anymore. We established in the last meeting, as you recall, someone looked up on their computer that other businesses who operate out of their home, someone's therapist, her information is readily available. Why are hosts any different? They're businesses now.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
consideration.
Okay, so do we have a motion to... So
I'll move this back to the full task force for consideration without recommendation either way. I'll also notate that to include this memo in the packet, and when we provide a summary, we will try to indicate to focus on this new piece of evidence in making our determination.
I second that.
Okay. Any public comment on the motion? No public comment. Okay, let's call a vote.
Member Hensy?
Aye.
Member Hensy, aye. Member Yankee?
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Chair Kanata?
Aye.
Chair Kanata, aye. The motion to return to the task force continues.
Okay, let's do the next one, please. Okay, let's call and let's see what happens.
Item number 7, file number 190548, complaint filed by Justin Barker against the San Francisco Zoo for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 6721 by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner.
Okay, do we have...
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry. This is the first time this matter has been heard.
Mm-hmm. Are both parties here? Okay, so Mr. Barker, come on up and... So the purpose of this hearing is to determine jurisdiction and then just get the facts, and then that information goes up to the full task force.
Great. Thank you.
And
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Great.
Right.
My name is Justin Barker. I'm a longtime resident here in San Francisco. In November last year, I was curious about the state of our zoo. So I requested the final report of the accreditation committee of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. It's the independent body that reviews and accredits zoos. I was shocked to receive a letter from zoo management refusing to release that document. It's one that other zoos list publicly on their websites. The letter stated they have no obligation to release documents to the public. I did some research and I learned that that's just not true. The San Francisco Zoo was owned and operated by the city until 1993, when the city entered a private-public partnership with the San Francisco Zoological Society. I have the 85-page lease agreement right here between the city of San Francisco and the Zoological Society. And in section 16.2, which I've included in the supporting documents you have, it's explicit. San Francisco Zoological Society shall provide public access to information concerning the operations of the zoo to the same extent that such information would have been available to the public pursuant to local ordinances if the department had continued to operate the zoo in the same manner as it did prior to the date of this agreement. It continues. All information concerning the status of all animals exhibited or otherwise housed or cared for at the zoo shall be deemed public information for public inspection under the Public Records Act. Let's be really clear. The Sunshine Ordinance Task Force has a jurisdiction over the San Francisco Zoo, and the zoo should be following local, state, federal laws regarding public inspections of records. And they are currently violating both the Sunshine Ordinance and the lease agreement with the city by not fulfilling such requests. On March 27, 2008, in an order of a determination issued by Doug Comstock, who is the then chair of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force, found in the case of Denise Boble versus the San Francisco Zoological Society, a similar case to mine, that the zoo had violated the Sunshine Ordinance. And at that time, the zoo committed to providing Sunshine Ordinance training to its managers to prevent further violations. The only thing that has changed since that finding are the people who make up the management team at the Zoological Society. From the correspondence I have had with the zoo and in reading the May 20th letter from the zoo addressed to this committee in response to my complaint, it's pretty obvious that this current zoo management needs Sunshine Ordinance training. That letter is full of misinformation and legally baseless claims that are just not true. They have claimed to act in good faith on my request, which is false. They claim that animal records, including medical records, are confidential. Since November, I have expanded my requests for documents, which I am happy to share in detail with you. But one request I have made sheds light on why transparency and public records requests are so important for a place like San Francisco Zoo, and why Section 16.2 in the lease agreement makes it very clear all information concerning the status of all animals should be deemed public information subject to inspection. I requested the reason for the death and necropsy reports and keeper notes about an eastern black rhino who died while on loan to the San Diego Zoo. All of the animals who live at the San Francisco Zoo, other than the ones that are on loan from other institutions, are owned by the city of San Francisco. So the city owned a critically endangered eastern black rhino. There's only 740 animals left in the wild. This rhino died prematurely, 15 years prior to what they should live in captivity, while on loan to the San Diego Zoo in November, with no public statement, no reason for the death. And during the joint committee meeting with the Zoo Society, there was no explanation given to the rhino's death. And in the joint Zoo Committee minutes, the reason for the death, where it's normally stated, simply says on loan to the San Diego Zoo. The death of this rhino is a huge loss to the city, and it's essential to understand what happened to our rhino and what happens at our zoo. Our city is named after the saint of animals. We deserve a zoo whose management is transparent with its citizens, follows through on lease agreements with the city, and most importantly, follows city, state, and federal laws. I'm grateful that you've taken the time to hear my complaint, and I urge you to find that indeed the San Francisco Zoological Society should comply with the Sunshine Ordinance, and that they have an obligation to fulfill public records requests, and that they fulfill mine in a timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the representative from the zoo, 5 minutes, please.
Thank you. Committee members, my name is John Phillips. I'm a lawyer here in San Francisco. I provide free legal services to the zoo, so they asked me to come down to make a quick introductory comment or two. We're here on 3 specific items that Mr. Barker has requested: financial data and the accreditation report. Financial data for the zoo is available through the City Hall. It's available on the website provided by the San Francisco Zoo. We're obligated under the section that he cites to have 2 meetings. The zoo has 11 a year. They're open, and a great deal of information is provided by the zoo to members of the public. We understand Mr. Barker's passion around this issue. He's got a website, justinbarker.tv. He's writing a book. He has an activist website volunteering his services for sale, building off of work he did 25 years ago. He's been consistent in his passion. We appreciate that. We respect it. But we're here on a fairly limited request, and there's no basis for that information. What I'd like to do now is introduce Dr. Waters, who's a PhD, who has a senior position with the zoo, who can talk a little bit more about the specific requests that are before the committee today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking with us today. My name is Jason Waters. I'm the Vice President of Wellness and Animal Behavior at the San Francisco Zoo. I oversee 4 departments there that comprise our sort of integrated animal wellness team. I have had a 20-year career in caring for animals, and I share that passion that Mr. Barker stated about this concern for the conservation of endangered species and our natural world. I hold adjunct positions at San Francisco State University, University of California at Davis. I sometimes hold an adjunct position at Stanford, and I'm invited all over the world to present on animal welfare issues, animal care issues, and animal behavior issues. I just wanted to sort of give you some of that information about my experience so that I can kind of put into context the way that we perceive these requests. Again, as Mr. Phillips stated, based on the memorandum that we received from this commission, there's essentially sort of 3 main points that we're addressing today. There's the request for financial information. We feel we've pretty well addressed that. We're very public with our financial information. There are Form 990s on our website. We discuss our budget plans at the Joint Zoo Commission, the Joint Zoo meetings, which occur every month but one, so we're very open about that. Another one of the requests was for the accreditation report. We feel that we have covered all of our requirements under our lease agreement with public information and don't see a need to release our accreditation report. Mr. Barker states that other zoos regularly do this. This is very infrequent in the zoo business. I can think of one zoo who has made public their accreditation report, and I'm not actually sure their reasoning for it. The other is a request for the medical records of our animals, and we feel that this is an inappropriate request that the Sunshine Ordinance does not have jurisdiction over. We feel that the medical records of animals are covered, the release of them is covered under Section 4857 of California's Business and Professions Code, and we do not want to ask our veterinarians to essentially break that regulation in order to meet Mr. Barker's request. We feel that would be a poor precedent set for veterinarians all over the state. Pardon me? So I believe that covers our response to the requests.
Okay, thank you. Do you guys have any questions for either parties? Okay, I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question for Mr. Barker. The agreement you were reading from, that's the current lease agreement?
That's the 1993 lease agreement with the city.
And that's current?
It should be current.
Gentlemen, is that current? The 1993 agreement?
I believe so.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I made a request to the departments of rec, which shared that lease agreement with me, and I asked them to share any that agreement and any other additional additions to that agreement, and that was all I received.
Okay, and then I'm just looking at the documentation here, and I'm looking at there were 4 bullet points as to what was requested.
Yeah,
correct?
Correct.
And let me make sure this is what we're talking about here. The first one was the latest Association of Zoos and Aquariums accreditation report. The next one was a complete list of animals that are, have been, or might be administered antipsychotic drugs and a list of the specific drugs. And then third one was any and all information on the zoo's 2018 budget and their expenditures, and the same thing for 2019 budget and the intended allocation.
I mean, I've further requested, and in the notes that I've shared, I've had further requested information about just details about what animals. Since I've received that documentation, I've learned that the city owns these animals. So I'd like to know a full list of the animals that San Francisco owns.
But right now, let's deal with these.
Okay.
Okay, because that was in the request.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. Can I have either one of the respondents here, please? So when Mr. Barker made his request, did you point him to all the online data?
Yes.
You did. So what of these four categories, what's online?
Of those four categories, the financial information is online. To be honest, a fair amount of everything that we have sort of agreed with the city is defines animal status is online. The Joint Zoo Committee reports are regularly put online. So I have an example of one here that I can pass over if you'd like to see it.
No, we can't take it the day of. It just doesn't work that way.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
So just to be clear, the budget information for 2018 and the expenditures are online?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you mean by expenditures.
Your outlay.
Our budget information is we're regularly audited. That the audit reports are put online.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I have one, Mr. Barker. I have another question, and we'll let the other members have some questions. Were you given any links, any online information about either of these four?
So I was there was 5 like snapshots of like a slide deck about expenditures that were shared with me. That is the only thing that has been shared. And all of the additional correspondence that we have, they believe that there's no need to release information. So I've received, the only thing I've ever received from the San Francisco Zoo around my requests are those 5 screenshots of a slide deck that about finances.
For 2018?
2018, yes.
Okay, nothing for 2019?
Nothing for 2019.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question for the respondents. In your opening remarks, you cited Business and Professions Code 4857 as a reason for withholding medical records for the animals. So I just want to read a portion of that. It says a veterinarian licensed under the provisions of this chapter shall not disclose any information concerning an animal receiving veterinary services. Goes on a little bit. Then it says except under one of the following circumstances. And number 4 says, as may be required to ensure compliance with any federal, state, county, or city law or regulation, including but not limited to the California Public Records Act. Correct. So he's making a Public Records Act request for this. I'm not exactly sure how you're citing Business and Professions Code 4857, which specifically says that it doesn't apply to a Public Records Act request.
It doesn't say that it specifically doesn't apply. It says as may be required to ensure compliance. And in this circumstance, it's not required to ensure compliance because the Zoological Society is a nonprofit organization that's not subject to the Public Records Act. But it's not a city agency in the way that is being interpreted. I think it's also important to note that if that's the case, then the veterinarians, as Dr. Waters pointed out, are going to be put in the position of having to violate a mandatory statute that precludes disclosure of veterinary records for animals at the San Francisco Zoo. And that cannot be the case, that a Public Records Act exception in a statute eliminates the rule from the books for the zoo. And that is why the agreement that was entered into between San Francisco and the Zoological Society has specific elements to it that the zoo is obligated to provide. And Mr. Barker received detailed information, and I won't read it, but if you go to the second page of the zoo's response, there was fiscal year information by revenue numbers, budget assumptions, breakdown of budgeted revenues by category and percentages, statements of revenues and expenses for budgets 2019.
Right, I realize that. I'm still focusing on Business and Profession Code 4857. Because you're saying that you just responded that it doesn't apply because you're a nonprofit, not a city agency. But the lease agreement, 16.2, says that the information should be provided and available as if the local ordinance is.
That's the language from the 1993 lease agreement.
Right. So is there something that shows that that language is no longer valid?
There's a request pending in it's on page 359 of the memorandum from the Office of the City Attorney for the current version of the lease, and we can collect that. I think we're stepping back from the details of the lease. There's a couple of points. We believe that the zoo has gone above and beyond what it's required to do to provide information to Mr. Barker. There is a vast amount of information that's available on the public websites through the city, through the zoo itself, and through the committee meeting minutes that Dr. Barker or that Dr. Waters referred to. There's a harmony that has to exist between a lease agreement with the nonprofit organization that runs the Zoological Society, the rights of veterinarians under the statute to not disclose animal records, and Mr. Barker's requests. And we think that the balance that we've struck with the information that's available, the other requests that are pending and how we'll address those, and our clear position regarding the AZA accreditation report and the specific requests for information about antipsychotic drugs, that denying requests to that information is consistent with the statute, consistent with the lease agreement and the policy, and also, frankly, consistent with practices throughout zoos in the United States.
Okay, so just I think you said you have made a request, but so as of right now, you do not have any amendment to this original lease agreement that would show 16.2 to no longer be valid?
I don't have the current lease with me. I do not.
Okay, so
I apologize.
As part of this hearing, that's going to be something I would highly urge you to collect, because the whole task force, when they look at this, will want to see that if that's the argument that you're making, that 16.2 is some type of antiquated lease that's no longer in effect, and that some new version of the lease no longer includes that information. Because without seeing that, we really can't make that determination. So
I appreciate your point.
That's certainly something you'll want to do. And then the other question I had, so you mentioned Business Profession Code 4857 regarding the medical records. I wasn't particularly clear about which code or why exactly you're saying the accreditation should be exempt from disclosure. Do you have a specific code that you're referring to, or?
We don't have a specific code that we're referring to.
Under what basis, then, are you saying that it's exempt?
I'm not. This is where I need to probably stop talking, because I'm not steeped in the details of that report, and I don't think it's fair for me to take a position that you guys will consider in your written response back to the Zoological Society. I think fundamentally, though, even if 16.2 continues to exist, our position is that we have a written agreement with the city where the Zoological Society runs the zoo. And that it is not a public agency that's subject to those requirements. There are, however, pursuant to the written agreement that was reached long ago, certain exceptions to that regarding fiscal data and other information which has been provided to Mr. Barker. And it's clear from his comments that he wants to, pardon the pun, look under the tent and examine every facet of operations of the San Francisco Zoo.
Okay, but that's kind of what the Sunshine Ordinance does, is it allows citizens to do just that, unless there's some specific code that exempts it, which I haven't heard mentioned yet, because that's the question I just asked. And there may be, and that would be what you would want to present to the full task force when this matter, if it does, goes to them. But I'm not hearing that right now.
Right.
I'm hearing stuff like balancing act and all that, which isn't a specific code, and absent a specific code, it is public information. And so absent exemptions, that's exactly what he gets to do.
Well, I appreciate your point, and it's consistent with what Mr. Barker is saying. We respectfully disagree with that.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, so Fiona, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, so just to be clear, even though the zoo is run by a not-profit organization, you are still under the umbrella of the Sunshine Ordinance through Administrative Code Section 12L for not-profits. And 12L specifically says that the intent of this chapter is to establish a policy wherein the city ensures that nonprofit organizations with which the city chooses to do business operate with the greatest possible openness and maintain the closest possible ties to the community they intend to serve. So I feel that we're going to send this up to the task force. I wouldn't suggest, I would ask that, and Cheryl, it's a week before the meeting. How many days does all the information have to be provided? I would say at least 2 weeks before the meeting that a current lease be provided to the task force and to Mr. Barker. And I believe we have jurisdiction because the zoo is a public entity. These records are public. So that's where I'm going.
That's exactly, I mean, absent anything, I'm seeing 16.2 as being very, very clear that the Sunshine Ordinance applies. Business Profession Code 4857 talks about how these are public. I don't see anything yet, so I would.
So are we good? We should have a motion to just move it up to the full task force with the current lease agreement being provided?
Yep.
Okay.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Okay, do we have any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, can we have a vote, please?
Member Yankee?
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Member Hensy?
Aye.
Member Hensy, aye. Chair Kanata?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, everybody. Can we have the next item?
Item number 8, file number 19039, complaint filed by Anne Marie Maybut against the Fine Arts Museums and members of the Board of Trustees for allegedly violating Administrative Code Sections 67.5, 67.6, 67.7, A and D by failing to make meetings open to the public and failing to properly post meeting agenda. 6713 by creating barriers to attendance. 6714B by failing to create an audio recording of the meeting. 6721 by failing to respond to requests for records in a timely and or complete manner. This is the first time this complaint's been heard.
Okay, do we have both parties? I'm sorry. The museum is, the complainant's not here? Okay.
No communication from the complainant beforehand? Oh.
Okay. Bear with us for 5 or 10 more minutes and hope. So I went through some of this, and there's just so much information there that it seems like there's at least 20 different complaints.
Right.
To pack, I think, I don't know how, I mean, to package it like that just makes it so difficult to adjudicate anything. So, Cheryl, is it possible, since Medbut is not here, to get back to her and say that she needs to break this down into specific things? At least you can have more than one complaint, but at least have it in the same silo. You know, the same issues. Because I was reading stuff going back to 2006, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, some of it seems to drift away even from the Sunshine Ordinance altogether.
Right.
It's all over the place and very, very, I mean, I don't know if we can ask for like a bulleted point list or something that's far more concise than this.
Like, I don't know if you can help her interpret the ordinance, Cheryl, to like help her like at least break down her complaints so that she knows what sections to file under, or maybe multiple, like Frank or Chair Canano was saying, multiple requests or complaints based on various sections of the ordinance.
Yeah.
I can certainly email her and ask her to call me so that we can separate all this stuff. And I'll probably take a day or two just to, after this hearing, to just look at what she's saying so that I can help her separate it.
And if you do
I
communicate.
apologize for causing confusion
No.
here.
No, no,
but
if
that
you-
was
No,
the
no.
complaint.
Hey, and when you do communicate with a reminder that she should appear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we want to have a motion to continue it at the call of the chair until we hear back from Ms. Madba and try to organize this?
Sure.
Yeah.
So moved.
I will second that.
Okay.
Is it? Yes.
Yes, there is no public here, so, because you're the respondent, you're part of this, so there's no public comment from the public. Let's have the vote.
Member Hinsey?
Aye.
Member Hinsey, aye. Member Yankee?
I
Member Yankee, aye. Chair Kanata?
Aye.
Chair Kanata, aye. The motion passes.
Thank you for being patient and hanging out. All right, next item.
Item number 9, adjournment.
We need motions, right?
sure. I'll move to adjourn.
Sure.
That's a second. Can we have that by acclamation?
Sure.
Meeting's adjourned. And I need a break before the next one.
me too.
All right. Let me have a